Hey everyone, welcome back to Flesh and Bad, and I'll put some extra emphasis on the bad because we are doing an F tier Fridays, and this F tier Fridays is going to be a doozy. So, as you can see by the 7-step instruction manual, we are going to be doing a Ziggy combo, and Ziggy is a hero that is not currently yet illegal in Classic Constructed, but we're going to be playing some future Classic Constructed with them. And the combo for this video is very hard to explain. So, this is the first time we've had a lightning illusionist, which means that the card pool overlaps in a very interesting way. Now, this combo is actually we kind of discovered that it's actually really bad, but I'm gonna try to explain it as if everything goes perfectly. So, you need basically a very specific setup of action points and potions. So specifically, energy potion, time snap potion, sigil conductivity, or just some other aura on the field, as well as like an embodiment of lightning. I think that's like the most common setup basically. And then you also need to draw a very specific 6-card hand. And the only way you can draw 6-card hands in Ziggy that we know of yet is basically to either play out a CLV, play out a truce, or play out a what's the last one? Or a sapphire amulet. And that will basically allow you to have a 6-card hand. And with that 6-card hand, you're going to need to draw a very specific set of cards. So you need to draw these 4 exact cards. So Phantasmal Symbiosis, Gone in a Flash, Fractal Replication, and Blast to Oblivion. And then the other 2 cards, one of them has to be an instant aura, and the other one just has to be a random instant card. So we're already off to a good start. So you need to have a very specific board setup, and then you also need to draw 6 cards near perfectly. But if you do manage to set all that up, basically the combo is this. So first, you'll basically start by like cracking your energy potion and your time snap potion, whatever. So what we do with the energy potion is we basically turn on lightning greaves, and then we also play phantasmal symbiosis. So that's where the 2 mana basically comes to play. And then for Phantasmal Symbiosis, we can basically turn other cards in the combat chain into illusionist cards. And this is a card that I don't think has like ever seen a ton of real play, like maybe in Prism at some point. But like this card is like kind of just like this weird jank card that kind of like works with the rules in a really interesting way. So, anyways, the first step is playing Phantasmal Symbiosis and giving it go again, either with an embodiment lightning or like a time stamp potion or something. And then you remove the phantasm so that your opponent can't pop it. So the second step will actually be to play out a Gone in a Flash. So Gone in a Flash, we know what this card does. It's a menace of Acilio. It's probably going to be a menace of the new Acilio unless they do something about it. But anyways, this card is the classic bounce a card back to hand, right? So you need multiple action points. So you actually the trick is actually super interesting. You leave this on the combat chain, and then you try to basically turn it into an illusionist card and then copy or leave it on the combat chain, copy it with fractal replication on the next chain link. So fractal replication will come into play and it will copy the effects of both phantasmal symbiosis as well as Gone in a Flash. So the phantasmal symbiosis trigger will then name Blast to Oblivion, turning Blast to Oblivion, which will be the next chain link, into an illusionist card. And then fractal replication will also get the properties of Gone in a Flash, which is now an illusionist card from chain link 2. And then you can now bounce fractal replication back to hand. So you do this, and then you play out one of your instants from here, basically. Then the next chain link will have to be the Blast to Oblivion, which I guess is step 5 here. So you play Blast to Oblivion to bounce an aura back to hand for an action point, and you're doing this assuming they have Greaves, so you just get a bunch of action points. And then Blast to Oblivion will then be illusionist attack on the combat chain. And then after that, you now use the fractal replication that you bounce back to hand. Fractal replication will possess the properties of both Blast to Oblivion, Gone in a Flash, as well as Phantasmal Symbiosis, which at this point doesn't matter because you're not going to play any other cards because you only have 6 cards in your hand. But then Fractal replication will basically copy the effect of Blast to Oblivion, and then you can use this as a Blast to Oblivion, Gone in a Flash for zero mana. That comes in for 6. So this card will basically deal 6 damage every time you play an instant. It'll bounce back to hand, refresh your action point. So it's basically 0 for 6, go again infinitely. Now, there are some caveats to the infinitely. I'm not actually sure how this interaction works, but you play Dreamweavers on the Phantasmal Symbiosis, which then loses Phantasm, right? But does that transfer onto the fractal replication? Because if the Dreamweavers doesn't transfer onto the fractal replication, then the Phantasmal Symbiosis will keep the Phantasm, which means that any popper on the fractal replication will actually just like ruin the combo because it will close the combat chain. which is something that I'm going to need to confirm with judges, and then Tegan will maybe post a blurb about why that does or does not work. But we'll figure that out. But anyways, assuming your opponent doesn't try to go for popper on this, or if they do go for popper, it doesn't matter. Then you win the game because you have an infinite combo. Now, whether or not we're going to actually get this to resolve against a human being is possible, but I've thought of some decks that we can maybe potentially beat. I think we can maybe beat like a Fang. I think we maybe like a Teklevasen. Maybe like an RKO or just any slow Pleiades deck or something like that. But I think there's some decks that we can maybe beat with this. Anyways, I didn't really think too much about the sideboard or anything because like we're basically just have one game plan at everyone. So anyways, this is going to be a nightmare combo to set up, but I'm going to do my best to, I guess, show it for your viewing pleasure. But before I get into the real games, I'm actually going to just load up a practice dummy Talistar lobby and just kind of demonstrate how the combo works. All right, everyone, so I have set up the prerequisites to the combo here so that you can at least see what the vision is. So first things first, we're going to crack our potions. So I think we only need one energy potion and one time snap in this scenario because we already have the embodiment of lightning. And the blink also shouldn't matter. We actually might not need the time snap, actually. Let's see if we actually do end up needing it. I guess we should actually do first regardless, though. Yeah, let's do it first regardless, just for but anyways, the blink actually probably doesn't matter. I think this can also just be like any instant. But then we're going to basically use our energy potion to go ahead and crack lightning greaves. Then we'll go ahead and crack our Dreamweavers. Play out the Phantasmal Symbiosis, so this will lose Phantasm, and then we will get to name a card to basically become an Illusionist card. So we'll name Garnaflash. Garnaflash will now be a Lightning Illusionist card. And we'll let that resolve. Then we'll play Garnaflash. Now, the important thing to note here is that you don't actually want to close the combat chain here. You actually want to leave it open just so that basically Garnaflash stays in the combat chain, because if you bounce it, it will return your hand, so it's no longer on the chain, so Fractal can't copy it. Then we'll go ahead and play the Fractal Replication. This will name Blast to Oblivion, because this is getting the effects of Phantasmal Symbiosis, which is on Chainlink 1, as well as the effects of Garnaflash, which is on Chainlink 2. Then we'll go ahead and copy Blast to Oblivion, or copy Fractal Replication. Then we'll go ahead and basically copy both the Garnaflash and the Phantasmal with the Fractal Replication. So now this is basically functionally a copy of Garnaflash, and this will retain its properties even when it bounces back to hand. So with that, we can go ahead and play out this blink, and then you'll see the Garnaflash trigger, because this Fractal Replication is actually functionally a copy of Garnaflash. Actually, I think what happens is it actually doesn't retain the properties when it goes back to hand. I think when you play it out, it will still see the Garnaflash and the Blast to Oblivion and everything, or it will basically see everything on the combat chain, so it doesn't matter that it's not a Garnaflash like back in your hand, basically. And then the next step is to play out a Blast to Oblivion. So the Blast will basically now also stay on the combat chain, and we'll go ahead and put a Sigil back in our hand just so that we can now have a Aura to play with the Fractal Replication. And now we have basically achieved the infinite combo. So now this Fractal Replication currently is not a Garnaflash, it's not a Phantasmal Symbiosis, and it's not a Blast to Oblivion. But once it hits the combat chain, it will now copy everything else on the combat chain. So this is now a copy of a Fractal. It's now a copy. So it's not a copy of itself because it bounced back to hand, but it is a copy of Garnaflash, it's a copy of Blast to Oblivion, and it's a copy of Phantasmal Symbiosis. So the Symbiosis doesn't matter. At this point, we can basically just skip through the triggers. But now, functionally, what this is a 0 for 6 go again that is both a Blast to Oblivion and a Garnaflash, which is pretty good, I'd say. And now we can use our last card remaining and our other auras to basically trigger this infinitely. And now we have an infinite combo, which we can use to basically bully this practice dummy here. And important thing to note, I misspoke earlier. Basically, Fractal Replication, when it goes back to hand, is not a copy of anything, but once it just basically sees the combat chain, then it will basically gain those properties. So anyways, we can basically just name whatever at this point. We'll do inflicted damage, and then we should basically be able to win the game, assuming that I don't actually skip through the trigger there, which I need to better about. So we need to do that in response to trigger so that the chain link is still basically open. Then we'll go ahead and bounce that back to hand. Go back to hand, and we have achieved infinite damage. Now, you might be asking yourself, why don't we actually just play Garnaflash and deal non-infinite damage, but in an easier and more practical way. And to that I would say that is not the point of F tier Fridays. If we wanted to play just normal Gone Flash, we would go just play normal Cilio, or I guess the older brother Swole Cilio, or Bros. I think it's Brocilio. Or is that what people are saying? It's Brocilio. I think I'm Team Brocilio. But anyways, we have thoroughly and completely killed this Talisman dummy. I think we're also generating infinite action points as we go. Do you actually need to generate infinite action points? I don't think so, but it's a funny thing you can do. So anyways, we're gonna try to do this against a real human being, and then if we get to the point where we have to give up, I might enlist a paid actor from our Discord to come help me out. But anyways, that's the combo. Let's see if we can actually get this to play out in some real games. All right, we got in a Cilio. I think this actually might be one of the matchups we can maybe actually win with this deck. This is my first game recording this, and I have low expectations. If I manage to somehow get it on the first try, that would obviously be kind of funny. Casual 7-card hand Acilio things over there. But I assure you that our combo is definitely better, right? Almost certainly. Oh, and they have, early Gunner Flash as well. Okay, we're probably dead here, actually. Maybe this combo is a little bit harder to pull off than it might first appear. Like, their combo was okay. You know, turn 4, dealing like 40 damage. But like, our combo assuredly must be broken because we're playing an illusionist, right? That's at least what I'm going to tell myself. All right, this actually might bode well for us. So we don't actually have a ton of Hala card support, so I'm imagining that their damage output's not going to be too insane. All right, give them a good luck, have fun. Let's see how this goes. I have a little bit more hope for this one, I think. All right, and there's our E-Pod. So that's all 3 steps of the combo basically achieved. I actually kind of have some hope here that we can maybe set this up. Like, we have 3 of the combo pieces. We just need Gone now. Okay, that's not exactly what we needed. I'm kind of rooting for the Hala here, if I'm being honest. All right, I think we're probably cooked here, but we'll let them finish this off. Oh no, they also had the weakest link. All right, I think our goose was cooked here regardless. Let me tweak the deck a little bit and see if I can maybe fit in like another blast in here somewhere. 2 losses, 1 to Acilio, 1 to Hala. All right, we got another warrior, which I guess bodes somewhat well for us. We've got a life lead, and then we've also got a little bit of breathing room. All right, we're super close. I can taste the combo here. We have 34 cards left in our deck. We're gonna be filtering a lot. We have our Sapphire Amulet out. We just really need that time snap. And I guess Blink also kind of does a similar function. That's it. That's the combo. Oh my god, I think we did it. Okay, so we just need to not have them disrupt me here. Oh my god, we did it. Okay, so like I was talking with Tegan about this. I'm like, who can we get from our Discord to be like a paid actor and actually like let me perform this combo? Because I didn't actually think I was gonna get it off live, which is incredible. I think this is the combo, unless I'm like missing. I think the blink counts as a time snap for combo purposes. Fuck, I actually don't know if we have the combo anymore. I like don't know enough about the combo to actually know if I have it now. We start by popping Dreamweavers. We play the Phantasmal Symbiosis. The Phantasmal Symbiosis will get going from the embodiment. Now I'm thinking about it, I actually don't know that we have this. Do we pop our I guess we might as well just pop our Greaves now. Yeah, maybe I did need the time snap. All right, so lesson learned at least here. I want to see if I can get this combo off, and maybe our Hang opponent here is going to be gracious enough to let us do it. Hope we somehow stay alive, which is questionable. All right, I think we have thoroughly fucked it here. All right, thank you to our Fang friends, I guess, for humoring me. Kind of at the point with this deck where I'm beginning to lose faith, but let's go ahead and give it a shot. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cheat at Flesh and Blood. I'm gonna write down our pitch stack. Let's get this ready. All right, I'm gonna completely scum this. Yellow Blast. Now bottom Truce as well. Bottom is now Sigil. Oh, we brought him Fractal. Okay, let's add that to our pitch stack. The bottom is now Phantasmal as well. So the pitch stack's actually looking quite good. Oh wait, do we bottom a CLV there? Yes, we did. The CLV has also been bottomed. God, do I stay the course or do I get greedy here? So we need to actually get back around to our pitch stack at this point. Yeah, I think this one maybe was also just a lost cause. So what do we learn from this game? We need something that's even slower than Fang. We got another Fang. We're gonna go first. We're gonna figure it out this time. All right, go next. Unlucky. All right, report them as well. Okay, so Tasha might be helping me out with this, which is very nice of them. Let's go ahead and do Oasis, I guess. We're gonna just try to set up the mega pitch stack, I think. And I guess we can get rid of fate because we want to set that up. Sure. Gonna try this. All right, so I'm hoping hoping there's no disruption here, but you never know. All right, so let's go ahead and pitch the blast and a Gone Flash for second cycle, and then just play out our sigil. Okay, so I assume this is Tasha based on the sleeves. I'm in streamer mode, so I cannot see names, unfortunately. All right, but I think we can maybe beat Sledge. All right, so this is basically, I think, our ideal matchup. So we still need to do a bit of work to set up. So we have Blast and Gone Flash on the bottom. Let me make a note of that. So Blast, Gone. Start a new column in my notebook of pitch stacking, which I'm not allowed to do normally. Okay, so double D-React here seems good. So actually, wait, we have the perfect pitch stack, I think, here. So we do double Shelter, and then we just play out the sigil conductivity. We could also pitch the sigil conductivity for late. We're probably going to find another opportunity to get one of those online. And that is actually good in the pitch stack. So now we need to find Phantasmal. If we, assuming we pitch both of these to the Talishar here. All right, so let's go ahead and pitch these both to Talishar. So now we have the perfect pitch stack. We have Fractal, Sigil, Blast, and Gone. All right, so that is the perfect stack. So now I think the Hope Merchant set was actually maybe messing us up that last game. Because maybe like that prevents us from like kind of doing this. And I think the Blink is also good in the pitch stack, right? Maybe. All right, double Sigil. Yep, that's pretty good. Is there a way that we can put the Blink in stack? Or I guess we can maybe bottom something in the stack with the Whisper. Okay, so CLV I think is actually perfect. So we bottom the CLV. We want to draw all these, I think. Yes, we want to draw all of these. So bottom the Sigil. Yep, okay, that's perfect. And we can do Bruce. So we want the Gone in a Flash to be the very bottom card, I think. So we put the Blink on top. So now it's CLV, Blink, and then second Gone. All right, so once we get to that first blast, then we should be good. So we put the Blink first and then the Gone on the bottom. All right, these two are both perfect. Column is also fine. You have to be a little bit concerned though about the Clash. The Clash of Bravado actually can mess this up real bad, which is kind of funny. All right, break the truce. Good for us, I think. All right, we can safely block this at least with the cloud cover and the sync blow here. I highly appreciate Tasha for being a good sport about this. She did not necessarily have to play the slowest deck in the world into me, but I very much appreciate the Pleiades practice, I guess. All right, so now we can go Sigil Lightning plus Sigil Conductivity, and then we want to make sure we're not like clashing into like her Test of Strength or something like that. I think that's like the biggest thing we want to avoid. I love to see that that pitch as well. All right, so we just need to find our Phantasmal Symbiosis, arsenal it, and then make it back around to our pitch stack. I think that's the key here. So I guess we're gonna play out the truce, which means I guess we don't need to play out the truce. We can just block like this, and then blast. I guess also can block, or maybe maybe we do. Maybe we want to whisper just to like bottom a bunch more cards to get through a little faster. I think that makes sense. All right, if we need to do an infinite on any hero, Pleiades is probably in the top like 3 heroes that we could potentially do this on. All right, so Whisper first. Let's see what we got. The Restless, like these are all kind of useless right now. We have a Blast in our pitch deck. I think we're just like bottoming 4. Alright, so it's like 3 auras. 3x auras, and then a blast on the bottom. I actually don't remember which way is that the most bottom card. I actually don't know how this is opted, but I don't think it matters. Alright, so we bottom 4, which is nice, and then we just play out the sigil lighting. Alright, so we still need to find our potions. We found the Phantasmal, but that's a little early. Alright, Cranial Crush, not quite good yet again. I feel like Cranial Crush, I guess the on-hit doesn't really matter too much against us. So let's go ahead and maybe just try to Arsenal the Cloud Cover here, and maybe just like play out the Truce just to turn through the deck a little bit faster. So we still need to find our potion. And then saving the Phantasmal. I guess like this Phantasmal like doesn't necessarily matter, right? Yeah, so let's just take one and then like Arsenal the Cloud Cover here. Just kind of get it out of our deck. But we did bottom 1 Phantasmal. Important thing. Phantaz. Okay. Just to kind of keep note that we need to find one of the other 2 ones if we do get rid of this one. Right, Sigil Lightning gone. Get our Truce back. Things are still going good. We want to be really careful not to attack with Talishar again. Right, there's Fractal as well, but we have Fractal on pitch, so we're just going to get rid of that. Right, not breaking Truce makes a fair bit of sense here. So now we go for Whisper, I think. So there's our... So, like, these can all basically just get bottomed, right? Like, bottom, bottom, bottom. Oh, it says first and last on these. Okay. That's actually helpful info. So the Phantasmal... I think this Phantasmal... We still have, like, one more Phantasmal, right? Oh, that works. So that's Cloud Cover. Phantasmal stays on top, because I think we want to Arsenal that, maybe? Like, weird, though. In that case, let's go ahead and Cloud Cover... pitch these 2, and if our sink below gets like Testament and Grip, then I don't think we care. All right, so Talishar has been fully used here. Right there's sink, that makes sense. So we need the Symbiosis, and we need to just draw to the Blast Gone Fractal Sigil pitch deck. And play out all our potions by then. Which should be good, because we haven't bottomed any potions, but getting the rune to play out the potions is probably going to be the tough part. So let's try to find a potion here. I'm going to like ignore the pitch stack for now. We can also get rid of this blast because we don't need it. And then let's go ahead and sink this Oasis for a better card. All right, potion's perfect here. So this should give us the breathing room that we need. And then we play out Sigil. Play out Time Snap. And then we Arsenal the Phantasmal here. So now we just need Energy Potion and the Sapphire Amulet, and then we should be good. Oh, yeah. Pretty good. All right, Tasha's she's probably going to be like, I don't know, like 60 by the time that we, we finish this game. But for what it's worth, I guess the Fiddler's Greens are probably not good. I guess we do have to be careful about like hostile encroachment if she chooses to play that into us, which would be very rude. But yes, thank you for the thank you for the help, Tasha. I appreciate it. I've been here for 3 hours. We got really close against the one Fang. I think I just like messed it up very slightly. It was so close to doable. Oh, let me. Oh. Okay, Phantasmal is an Arsenal. Found our E-Pot. Oh, Blink can actually let us double potion, which is kind of nasty. All right, 55. 55 is functionally the same as nothing, right? Gotta be okay. Pummel in the pitch stack also kind of scary. Let's go ahead and sink below. Pass here. You can't pummel over Cryo. That's at least good. We're gonna blink and then double potion here. So now we have all of our potions and auras set up. I think what we need now is just to find the Sapphire Amulet, and then we need to hit our pitch stack. Oh god, how many cards do I actually have in the pitch stack? Good question. So if they bottom the so the riches, so if she bottoms the this phantasmal, it's actually not that big of a deal, but we probably should just block anyways just to get cards out. Yes, I think that makes sense. We just want to save life, turn through our deck as much as possible. Right. Yeah, we do still have to be like there is still disruption in this Pleiades deck. Like, yeah, like cranial crushes, disables, hostile encroachment's even kind of weird. Lots of things that can definitely go wrong for us. At least the Oasis are going to let us gain a little bit of life on our own. But yeah, we really need to find that Sapphire Amulet. I stopped keeping track of the pitch stack, but maybe I should have. Maybe you just need to have like a super huge brain to play this deck. Maybe that's the secret. Right. Fortunately, we are immune from gravekeeping. I don't think it matters. Because all the cards are basically like in our deck. So Blast is gone. Sub 3 Blast. I mean, we're just trying to get back around to that Blast pitch stack. So let's Oasis here. We just slam double Aura, basically. Get rid of the gravekeeping. Still in a bit of danger, but we do still have our setup going good. We just need that last amulet, and then we're kind of cooking. Stardust, Restless. What we need to kind of get started here. It's funny, it gives you like a little error message when you play Restless when you don't have counters. Kind of funny. This hand is bad, but we can at least at least block 3, or I guess block 7 total. Kind of good at least. Funny thing is we can play a time snap to play a time snap. Actually, I wonder if we're trying to do this fatigue thing, like, are the potions even good? They're kind of not, right? Like you maybe only need like 1 energy potion. Right, thank you, Tasha, for sending vanilla damage and not actual disruption. I appreciate that. I don't know. Well, I guess we could have blocked it with the Stardust there, at least for what that's worth. But yeah, I think we're still. Actually, we could pop both the time snaps just to get all these cards out of our deck, and then play another time snap out. Kind of hilarious. We don't need double time snap, right? We already have the embodiments. I don't think we're playing any more attacks. Oh, I guess we might as well just go. I like these energy potions are maybe like actually like what's been. I feel like I just built this deck wrong. Okay, wait. So this is our This is our pitch deck, right? I believe this is our pitch deck. So Blast, Gone, Fractal, Sigil, CLV. I think. Unless wait, is this another? How many Gons have we? No, this isn't our pitch deck. Blast, Gone, Fractal, Sigil, Seal. Oh, no. This is our pitch deck because we did put another Gone in our pitch. Interesting. So the hostile makes this awkward, but I think we can still do it. So the hostile crushes. We discard wait, so Gone, Fractal, Sigil, CLV, Blink, Gone. So we can block with this Gone, I think. And then play the Stardust, play Sapphire Amulet, and then hope that there's no disruption on the follow-up? Is that what we're trying to do? Okay. Maybe? Alright, this is gonna get weird. So, we play the Sapphire Amulet, and then next turn, on Fractal Sigil CLV, the top card are Blink and Gone. So we need to play out the CLV. I believe. So that play out the CLV, and then we Sapphire Amulet. I think that's the strat, and then we should have everything. I think. Okay, so yes, that's all we have to do. Blink, Gone in a Flash should meet the instant requirement. We could also just discard the blink in case we need an aura, but I don't the Flash of Brilliance, but I don't think that matters. So we do this. So I'm gonna play out the CLV to show you that we don't need the extra card draw from it, and then we're gonna Sapphire Amulet to go to 6. So the top card should be Blink and Gone in a Flash. It should be everything now. All right, so we have the combo, and again, Tasha is basically letting us do this. Because otherwise I don't think we'd be able. But hypothetically, this is a possible thing. Now, maybe there's a new archetype or something when this releases where like maybe that's like a thing you can do with Zyggy. I doubt it because I imagine Gone in the Flash is probably not going to be a card that stays around for a while. But now I'm thinking I don't think we need this like this doesn't need to be an aura, I don't think. Okay. So I think we just take the damage. We're not drawing any cards. It doesn't matter. So let's just do this, I think. And I think we got it, unless I'm missing something. I believe this should be everything. All right, so we start by playing the Phantasmal, popping Dreamweavers. And now we can go to town. So pop our energy. I guess we might as well just pop all our potions at this point. Why not? But we'll have our action points. So the Phantasmal will get go again, and we'll also lose Phantasm. And then we name Gone in a Flash to turn that into an Illusionist card. So Gone in a Flash is now an Illusionist card. Fiddlers is fine. If anything, if anything, that will just go to show how much damage I guess we can do here. All right, so we take, or she takes 1, and then we don't do anything here. So now we play Gone. We have another action point. And the important thing to note here is that you don't want to actually bounce Gone and Flash back to hand. You need to leave it on the combat chain in order for it to copy, I think. Because if it's not in the combat chain, then it won't copy with the fractal. All right, so we're buying some extra armor. And this should be an infinite, so even though Tasha is at 54 here, it shouldn't matter. So now we play the fractal. I guess we can also like Lightning Greaves at this point, but it doesn't matter. So the fractal is now a Phantasmal Symbiosis, which means that we can now name Blast to Oblivion to turn Blast to Oblivion into an Illusionist card. And then we'll go ahead and Lightning Greaves. Will let us refresh our action points. So we'll hit for 6 or some amount of damage, and then we play out Blink. And I think this could just be any instant, but this will basically return the fractal, which is being treated as a copy of Gone in the Flash back to hand. And now we play Blast to Oblivion, which will. We have 1 action point floating, so I think we should be fine here. We actually might have needed like double time snap to like if we didn't want to use the blink there, but I think the blink actually worked out perfectly. So now Blast to Oblivion happens. We can now sigil conductivity to. I guess we didn't need the blink, right? Because we're gonna bounce a bunch of auras to get this to go infinite, right? Now Blast to Oblivion is now an illusionist attack action, and then we can fractal replication, which will copy the Blast to Oblivion. So this is the combo. Okay, so Tasha started the turn at 55, and I guess we'll name a good clean fight. And then we're going to be dealing basically 6 damage infinitely here, which I think is the thing that works in actual Flesh and Blood. But we have officially achieved the combo as long as I remember to input all the UI elements here appropriately. I guess do we make infinite action points by doing this? But this should basically be infinite from here on out. Oh, fuck, I fucked it up. Oh no, I immediately fucked it up. Sorry, one more time. All right, so we take 6. I need to bounce here. There we go. This bounces, we bounce this, do all the things. So the hardest part is clicking at the right time at this point. So bounce that, yep. All right, and now I think we're actually netting action points here, which is crazy. So I think this is also infinite action points, which I guess doesn't matter, but is a thing that you're legally allowed to do. So anyways, I wanted to show this combo because I don't think this is a combo that's going to be legal in CC for very long. So if it's at least legal in future CC, I think that's kind of interesting. And then we'll return it to, yep, go through the motion. So we have to do this 5 more times. So Tegan might honestly just fast forward through this portion, which I will not blame them for. But yeah, let's go ahead and keep doing this. Doing this for the content. And again, I appreciate Tasha for sitting through this. All right, so we bounce that. All right. I think this Phantasmal, I think this is like multiple copies of Gun in a Flash 2, or maybe it's only keeping the properties of like one of them. I actually don't know how it's really coded. But anyways, this is just a really funny, cool combo. And again, it's the thing you're technically allowed to do in the game, but it's a thing that I don't think any real competitive deck will let you do. So that's why it's on an F tier Fridays. But it's funny that we are actually like netting action points for this. Which is kind of hilarious. All right. One last couple less fractals for the road here. Oh. Refresh the page. 10,000 year reunion. All right. Shit, I did it again. Sorry. Okay, one more time. There we go. All right. Bring it back. Thank you, Tasha. Again, the inputs on this are kind of tedious. Bounce. All right, and this is some true flesh and blood right here. This is what it's all about. It's all about fair number value turns, right? So I'm kind of curious to. I think Tasha has. Oh my god, I keep doing it. I guess this is maybe the hardest part. Sorry, I keep missing this. One last time. All right, focus up. There we go. Don't make Tasha suffer any more than she has to. All right, gone. Blast. Gone. Back to hand. Yep, yep, yep. All right, we are just sitting at a casual 9 action points, which is, I guess, a thing that we're legally allowed to do. All right, then we bounce. All right, and then we got maybe 1 or 2 more swings here. Bounce. All right, and then we are now officially sitting at 10 action. Oh my god, it like actually goes like the action point there, like kind of like the UI on it was like kind of messy. Maybe they didn't expect anyone to block with the multiple action points. And actually, the funny thing is, this actually even works through poppers, which is hilarious. So we'll return that to our hand. Oh, but that closes the chain, actually. Hold on, sorry. Oh, wait. Wait, does that actually break? Wait, if they have a popper, does that actually not work? Oh, no, that might actually not work. Wait, did Tasha just win this game? That's hilarious. Oh, I think that actually closes the chain. So wait, this combo just, like, doesn't work. That's hilarious. Because that closes the chain. Love that. Well, Tasha, I think you've won this. Or actually, hold on. Sorry. Can I play this one more time? Even because it only copies things on the combat chain. So the fractal goes there. When you play fractal, it gains the abilities and effects of illusion attack. So this doesn't even work anymore. Okay, so Tasha has actually just won the game. Okay, so this might actually be the worst F tier prize list I think I've ever seen. So let's actually see what the last card in Tasha's hand was. All right, we'll go ahead and scoop it up. Hold on. So, anyways, thank you, Tasha, for humoring me again. Like I don't think this actually can beat anything unless there's a deck that doesn't run poppers, is the slowest deck in the game. Does not have any meaningful interaction or disruption. Like there's actually no I don't think there's actually any. I can't bounce the fractal at hand before the popper? Can I do that? Or if I bounce it in response to the phantasm trigger, that will close the chain. That doesn't work. So this combo just like does not work against decks that have poppers, which is fascinating. Which means the deck doesn't work against like anyone. All right. So, anyways, thank you, Tasha, again for humoring me and playing probably the slowest pile, which we still cannot beat because this also needs to work against a deck that doesn't run any poppers. So maybe in the future meta, this will work against some hero, but not today. And I feel like a lot of these cards are probably going to end up beating a ban anyway. So, anyways, just a fun video for F tier Fridays, but I wouldn't count on this deck being meta, I guess, anytime soon. All right, so anyways, I want to give a couple of special shout outs to the, I guess, inspiration for this combo. So shout out to Lady Lotera on the Discord. She initially posted the comment that kind of sparked this whole thing. And then special shout out to, again, Aegisworn for doing the work to actually recode fractal replication to actually manage to copy Galana Flash, which is a thing that like doesn't even work, as we found out in the video. But anyways, special thank you to him and all the work he does for the Talstar community and just the Fab community in general. He puts in a lot of time and effort and actually like making things happen, which I greatly appreciate. And then one last shout out to Tasha, who again was the Pleiades that we tried to play in the last round again. Even against the slowest decks in the game, this doesn't work, which is fascinating. But again, special thank you to Tasha for humoring me and playing a very, very slow deck that I could maybe potentially win against. But yeah, anyways, that's F tier Fridays. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see y'all next time. And a special thank you to all the folks who decided it would be a good idea to give us $2 on Patreon. We really appreciate the support, but it's obviously never required.